Hello, hello, everyone. Patriot 5 and Patriot 6 here. I just walked into Ron's door. I'm running late. He looked at me and said, "A little late, aren't you?" And I still got started by 7 o'clock. And there's Jeffrey coming in there. Congratulations, Jeffrey, on being the first one. Jeffrey, you can tell everyone I'm going to go ahead and say the pledge. Hey, Janet, good to see you. I'm going to say the pledge and I'm going to play the music and then I'll come back and we will talk, see what happens. I want feelings. I want to know what everyone's feeling because I'd like to say I'm depressed, but I'm not. I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. So let's go get this stuff going. And we got 9 people on here already. And Ian's now in chat. Jeffrey and Janet, good to see you, Papa G. So, Papa G, we talked today. And you mentioned something to me, and I'd like to know if I could share it tonight. Not using your name, but just share it in a way where no one would know. But anyway, I had a great talk with Papa G today, so let's get this ball going. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'm glad to stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their right to me. And I'm ready to stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt of this land. God bless the USA. Next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless.
That's a song that I just love to play on the show because I feel this is what our show is about. America, the USA, but it's also about a lot more. And I'm going to talk about that when I come back from talking to the kids. But Super Jimmy, you made some posts today, and one of me and Ron still shaking our head about that, why you would be even knowing anything about something like that. But, people seem to like it. So maybe you're wise beyond your years. I don't know. I'd much rather you play, do your schoolwork. And yes, if you want to post some things, that's fine. But boy, there's some of the things that I shake my head because I have no clue what you're even talking about. So I guess when we come into this journey, let's see, Ron's here and Bill Woods is here and Tony and Papa G and Susie Q. And Susie Q, it's good to see you.
Wait, she ain't been on in a long
You have not
time.
been, as me and Ron both said it at the same time, you have not been on for a while. Good to see you here. And we got Kevin and Joe Phillips. And, guys, as I was talking to Papa G today, it amazed me. It amazed me because this man comes on. He's here every week, every night. And what's funny, I'll get into this story. I got off track. I want to talk to the kids in Patriot 11. I really wish Grandma would let me know everything's okay. And I know they are. But I really wish that she would let me know, Robert. Good to see you, Robert. How's the weather over there where you're at? Here it was pleasant today. Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp, who, as we all know, and I'll keep promoting him. I dropped a Frito. I'll keep promoting him. He's not only Karate Kid, he's also a wrestler now. And kids, before I go any further, my grandkids, which I'll talk about in a little bit, they go to Clifton Central School District in Illinois. And the other day, one of them had to play a basketball game, and their tallest player wasn't there. And they're the best team in the league. They're undefeated. They had never trailed in a game before, and the team they're playing had a big boy. And when I talk big boy, we're talking 10 and 11-year-old kids, or 9 and 10-year-old kids. And this boy was big, and he was good. And boy, we got behind 8, 9, 10 points, and it did not look good. But somehow, even missing their two of their best players, they got together. I don't know what at halftime the coach said to them, but boy, they played different. And they ended up winning by 1 point. I told you that story just because I love to see kids in more than one sport. I love to see them play sports and be team-oriented the way they are. And, Patriot Karate Kid, now that you're wrestling. But another purpose of the story was, I was told by my daughter that the reason one young boy missed, the real tall kid, the reason he missed for our team is because he was at soccer. He had a soccer tournament. But then she got telling me about wrestling. And a 4th grade little girl, I think she said 4th, she might have said 5th, won the state championship in her division. She won the state. She is the first Clifton individual championship in any sports. Could you imagine Patriot Princess and Patriot Wyatt? Wyatt, could you imagine asking someone like that out and knowing that if you did something wrong, she's going to pin you? Think about it. But it's such an amazing feat. Also this year, as I told you, my grandson, they won the Super Bowl. But I love to see kids play sports and not sit in the house all day long, not worry about who's online, what can they do, Patriot Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie. I hope you had a great weekend. And by the way, I want to wish everybody a happy new month. And for all of those from the Ukraine watching, which there's none, it's spring there.
Same as here.
Pardon?
Spring's supposed to start on March 1st here too.
Ron says
Usually
spring.
don't get started till the
Spring
next
is supposed to
one.
start on March here at first too. And we'll get into something like that because, you know, we'll see what's going on. Patriot, Little Leona, and Little Elan, your lives are just beginning. Little Leona, you're just getting into doing the things that everybody looks and says, oh, isn't that so cute? And Lelan, you're the same way. And Leona, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, little Leona. Happy birthday to you. Yes. Yesterday was little Leona's birthday, which was also Big Leona's birthday too, my mom. And I'm going to tell you guys a quick story, you kids, because I told this story to another person today, and they told me I was crazy. And I am. But let me tell you this story because people love my stories. Every year since my mom has passed away, me and Ron have bought White Castle burgers, the little sliders. And we always take and we put 2 of them on my mom's tombstone. And when we go back the next day, they're gone. And I told this person earlier today about this. And she said, well, do you think your mom's coming and getting them? I said, what other reason would there be? What other reason would there be, Susie Q and Betty Woods? What other reason would there be, Papa G? I put 2. So today, I get a notice. I got to run into Verizon to pay Ron and mine phone bill, kids. You know, because if I want to do shows and play music, I got to have my phone. And I'm driving by the cemetery and I go, you know what? I'm going to go see. I'm going to go see and I'm going to check it out. I want to see if my mom got her White Castles. Now, to tell you the complete story about White Castles, my mom loved them so much. And I know they're not good for you because I know the stuff that they put into them. But you know what? That didn't matter to my mom. Back then, they weren't putting all this stuff in there. And she loved White Castles so much that me and Ron would go and buy her a 30 Craver pack. She would eat 4 or 5 for lunch, and then we put them in the refrigerator. And boy, she took inventory on every one of those White Castles. Every one of them. She took inventory on. She knew exactly how many she had.
We had them all week for lunch.
And she would eat them all week for lunch. And I'm telling you, when it got down to 26, 27, if we'd look at her and say, Mom, you don't have no more left. Oh, you know the stuff that hits the fan? It did. You did not mess with my mom's White Castles. So ever since she's passed away in 2001, on her birthday, we have always went and we've always went and taking care of things for her, giving her White Castles. Now, to go a little bit further, my dad's birthday is on April 21st. So we can't do something for mom, kids, without doing something for dad. So what we did, was we always take, me and Ron, sometimes just me, depending on how things go. But we always take, and we, I'm looking for something, by the way. We always take and we pour a beer on our dad's grave, and me and Ron drink a beer. Then the second one, we take it and we set, just like on Mom's White Castles, we sit on his side of the marker, And the next day it's gone. Now, you can say that the animals come in and get mom's White Castle burgers, or you can say mom comes down and gets her White Castle burgers. But why is animals going to come and get my dad's beer? Now, as I was telling you kids and everyone here, I went to town today and I thought, I'm going to run through the cemetery. I'm going to see if mom got her White Castles. Well, here's the picture. Yes. It's not going to let me show you. But right there, if you could see it, you can see it says Anderson. On the left-hand side, Leona A. And right below where it says Leona A is where I put them 2 White Castles, and they are gone. Boxes and all. Now, let's face it, if it's an animal coming in, they're not going to take the box. So my mom got her White Castles like she always does. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, Patriot Super Gymnast, this kid has a way, guys. This kid has a way, and I was talking to Papa G about her, and he was telling me how sweet and how cute and how precious she is. And I agreed every bit, 100%. But I was talking to her about him today about her, and she has a way of getting to me. And I went to the other 2 kids, Patriot 11 and Patriot Super Little Monkeys basketball games yesterday. So she wasn't playing, but they had a stand set up. They were selling Girl Scout cookies. And she says, Papa, do you have money to buy me Girl Scout cookies? And I said, no, I don't have the money to buy you Girl Scout cookies. She said, well, let's just go for a walk. Let's go for a walk and see what kind they got. My friends are selling them, and let's go down there and just talk to them. I said, sure. Anytime I can get to spend with Patriot Super Gymnast, just me and her, I never give up on that. So we're walking down there. Oh, she holds my hand. She hugs me. And we get down there, and the little girl comes up to her friend and says, hi, Ella, would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? And she looked at the little girl and says, yes, my papa would like to buy 1 box of Thin Mints. Well, guess what? I had to come up with $6 for that box. She has her way. And I knew it. I knew going down there I was going to buy her a box. Patriot Small Hank come into my bedroom tonight and said, Grandpa Hank, can you help me? And I said, what do you need, buddy? What do you need? And he says, can you help me show me how to make a cursive W and a cursive V? And yeah, why? And he had 2 there. And on the W, he had dude. And I said, I think you got 1 too many dudes there, buddy. But I helped him, and he thanked me. And hey, John, good to see you. Virginia, good to see you. Bill, good to see you. Larry Smith, David, Joe Phillips. Lots of new ones come on since I talked. Lynn. But anyway, little Kira, not real happy with little Kira tonight, and I'm not going to tell you why, but I'll tell you this, she listens to her mom too much, and it's not good. But she's a 3-year-old that picks up things that other people says, and what she said to me the last 3 times she's talked to me is not good at all. Hi, John. So that concludes tonight's version. What?
You say that to you again tonight?
No, I didn't see her. That concludes tonight's version of the kids' version of the show. Remember, kids, this show is not meant for you. And we're okay with that. You can watch it and listen to it as long as you have permission from your parents, grandparents, or legal guardians. I can promise you I do everything I can not to get like I was when I first started. When I first started, I mean, I'm a factory worker, kids. And I know that don't mean a hoot's butt to you. But a factory worker has their own different style of language. But you know what's funny? There was words that we would use in this factory. And I remember the first day, kids, that I went to work. My mom says, you know, there's going to be women there and you got to watch how you talk. I come home and my eyes were like this. My mom says, what's the matter? I said, could you explain to me what these words mean? And I told her. And my dad's sitting over there and he cracked up because I was serious, guys. The words that these women were using, I had no clue. Yes, I knew how to cuss like every teenager kids does. I had older brothers, so I heard them. But that was never me. That was never Ron. We was never people that have to cuss and say bad words to get our points across.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, these women oh my goodness. To these days, I still don't know. I looked at my mom and she blushed and she said, I couldn't tell you. And she said, where did you hear that? And I said, some women at work, they called me that. First day of work. I didn't know my butt from a hole in the ground. I'm trying to learn everything. But if I'm telling you, them women up there, and you can ask Ron, them women up there, if you got on the good side of them, man, you were safe. You did not want to be on the bad side of these wicked women of the West. They were nasty. But here's the thing. And I got to where I did a lot of nasty talking. I had to blend in. That's the way we talked. But the minute I walked outside them gates, I didn't talk about work, kids. You never want to bring work home. I never talked about work, and I never cussed. My kids, until very, very late in life, never heard me say really bad words. Because when I left that work, I left it. I wasn't getting paid by that company anymore to promote their company. So why do I want to go out and have a few beers with the guys after work on Friday night and just talk about work? That wasn't me. So that does conclude tonight's. And like I said, the music we played tonight, we have no legal rights to. We're going to bring a new segment back tonight. It's really not new. We used to do it all the time, and I've been thinking about implementing it back in. And the reason it went out was because back when we used to have a lot of people come on, the other night we had 148 people come on at one time. And it's the most we've had in a long time. But it doesn't matter how many. It matters is that I was reminded today by Papa G. What matters is everyone here is a family, Sandra and Johnny Holiday. Everyone here is a family. You can come, and I see you guys are over here talking about filing your taxes and doing this and doing that. I'm not filing. I don't have nothing to file for. But even if I did, and I know what I know now, I wouldn't file. I'm tired of them taking our money. I'm tired of them cheating us and deceiving us in that. So when I did my show last Friday night, everyone, yeah, how I'm smiling now was the whole show. I put my faith in some people, and if it would have just been one person, the person who did it on a Thursday night call, I would have wanted to see what happened. But see, I didn't hear it from just one. I heard it from 5 or 6. I heard it from 5 or 6, and you know, I let myself believe, and I still do, because the final line is, he said, by Tuesday morning or Tuesday sometime during the day. So I'm going to hope faith that money is put in the account. The only trouble is I did mention it to a few people that I care for, because I really and truthfully believe that we were going to get it. I did. We still might. But please tell me this, Larry Smith and Janet and Sandra. If we're not going to get it, why do they keep saying? It's not numbers for these people that do shows. They're going to have their followings regardless. Yeah, they'll be a little rude and they'll say, well, I'm not going to start my show until we reach at least 300 people. What arrogant people is out there that you could have 222 people sitting there and they'll let you sit there for 20 minutes because they're so arrogant that they think they're too good. And let us not forget the people that's out there. Isn't it funny that there's certain people out there doing shows? And I'm going to expose things tonight, guys. I'm going to expose things because I had a great talk with a guy that I really like today. I found someone today that can talk more than me. And I say that in a very nice and loving way. But he opened my eyes to some things. And there's a person that, we talk about when they give information. But yet this person has become very well off with two other people. When he, the other night, had, to me, the best show he's had this year and probably back until July or June of last year. I got excited with his show. Mary Ann and myself even said, wow, we didn't even make fun of him tonight. It was a great show. But yet, this man, 15 minutes and 8 seconds for the show, but the show lasted 90 minutes because he doesn't think enough of his people to come out and do the show. He has to come out and sell and sell and sell. And what's funny, me and Mary Ann did laugh about this because the guy who sells the products for the health, he was sick. He was sick. This is like the 4th time in the last 6 months. He's been sick promoting his products. What?
You guys are laughing at a sick man.
No, Ron says you're laughing at a sick man. No, I'm not. I'm laughing at the fact that him and the other man that hosts the show is sitting there telling us how great they are, how great thou art, how great thou art. You know what I mean? I'm laughing at that he is constantly sick. If you could talk to Mary Ann, we could tell you, listening to a certain show, when the main man comes on, she'll tell me, Ralph, he sounds terrible tonight. He sounds like he's congested, like he's not going to get through the show because he doesn't feel good. She'll tell me this. And I'm thinking, wow, them are great products. But then we got the queen bee of the whole people because there's nothing she don't know. Nobody's ever went to the Redemption Center and exchanged, but she's on, I think, her 6th different program selling to people. All it is about money. Now, what hurts me so much about being about money, the main man in this whole show come out and said, if you take any money from people, I don't care how it is, if you do shows and you charge, whether it's charged to answer questions, whether it's selling products, whatever it is, you will be dealt with. So I'm literally believing in my heart that there's a lot of people, and I can mention a lot of people's name because me and Papa G went over a lot of them. But there's certain people that I'm going to talk a little bit about. There's a woman out there that when Kayla McInerney held the position that she held, there's this very, very beautiful Black woman. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know what they say to themselves. Very beautiful woman. And I remember I said a couple of years ago that in 2028, that Kayla McInerney and this Black woman, and I should say white Kayla McInerney, because I don't want anybody to think I'm prejudiced. I'm not. It's just that this beautiful woman, both of them, I thought would be maybe a good running team to not only have a first woman president of the world, but also have a vice president and let them do. They run the households anyway. Why can't they run the whole world? Why? Because I believe right now, folks, you're seeing the last president that you'll ever see in the United States of America. Talking to some people recently, 85% of all of these people are crooked. 85%, maybe 90 are going to go down. And how many times have we been told by the hat that our government will be run with about 10%. Papa G and Lynn Date and Jeffrey and Bill Woods and David, why couldn't you hold a great position like that? Why do you have to be college educated? Why do you have to be rich? Everybody's going to be the same. I was talking to someone recently, and they made a statement to me about the replicators. And he was watching something, this person was watching something, and the replicators, they actually seen Rosie, or was it Rosie, or was it meet George Jetson, Jane, his wife. It might have been Jane that was doing something with the replicator. And if you look, guys, we've seen this for years on certain shows. They've been showing us this. They've been showing us the special beds for years. And yes, talking to people, they tell me, I was talking to so-and-so, and they're a nurse, and they told me. I said, well, have you been trained on them? No. Have you seen them? No. But they're doing it with a smile on their face because they are under an NDA. They cannot tell you yes. But you know, you can say something, David Duffy and Bill Woods and Janet and Sandra. You can say something and get your point across without saying it. Would you agree with me on that? Myrna, would you? Janet? Johnny Holiday? You can say something. Now, I met a nurse who retired. And when I asked her, why you retired, you're too young. And she said, 40 years, Ralph. And I wanted to rest because soon Big Pharma is going to be gone. Soon people's going to see the world a lot different. Soon everybody in the world is going to be healthy. And she kept going with these soons. And I said, have you ever been trained on these? And she said, yes. I said, you're not on an NDA? She said, not yet. But I don't go and tell people what they are. So I just happened to look at her right in the eye, and I said, are they called special beds with the real name? Her eyes got as big as basketballs, and she said, how do you know? I said, I can't tell you. I'm under an NDA. I bullcrapped her. And she said, well, what do you know about him? And I stood there, and I told her, and she said, yes. And I told her this, and she said, yes. And I told her this, and she said, oh, my God, are you sure you weren't trained? And I said, no, but I've been studying him for years, all the way back to Jared Rand. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Jeffrey and Eileen? By the way, Eileen, hi. Myrna and Papa G, can you imagine what it's going to feel like to get up and wake up in the morning and just jump out of bed and say, hello, world, I'm ready for the day. Now, will we get the replicators, or will we go back more? This was brought to my attention, to the Flintstones era. To the Flintstones era where you can get a bag of potato chips that won't harm you. You can get a candy bar. You can get a bottle of pop where there's good things in the pop and you enjoy drinking a Grape Crush, a Knee-High Crush, or a Pepsi. And you know when you have that bag of chips, that candy bar, and that Pepsi, hold on a second. Nope. Be right back. Sorry about that. I had to go get something. But you know when you go and you do that pop, that candy bar that's not going to hurt you, are the potato chips. Chesty Ruffle potato chips, my favorite. Now, Papa G, Jeffrey, Bill Woods, Janet, when I just said that, if you go and you get something like that, what's it going to cost? Put down in the comments real quick what it's going to cost. Because when I was a kid at 10 years old, I'm going to show you what it costs. That's why I had to get up. Anybody, When you was kids, if you bought what I just said, what's it going to cost? No, back then it wouldn't. Expert, it wouldn't cost you your health back then because the things were made pure. Nope, there's three things, Janet. Remember the Pepsi, the chips, and the candy bar together. 10 cents was the Pepsi. Anyway, right here, guys. Right there. Joseph Phillips got it right there. I just went and got it. Right there, you could get all three of them for 10 cents. And at the place we used to get the pop, every Saturday night, my dad and me would walk down to Charlie's Tavern. My dad would have one, maybe two little 7-ounce glasses of beer. I would have a pop. He would get me a bag of Chesty potato chips and that candy bar. But I wasn't supposed to tell Ron and Russ, my brothers. I wasn't supposed to tell them because he didn't get them any because they wouldn't walk down there with him.
We didn't need to. We had our own.
But we would get that, but we would pick up a 6-pack of pop. Everybody got to choose in the family because my sister was still there for a while. Everybody got to choose what kind of pop they got. Now, it's a dime a bottle of pop, but if you bought it by the 6-pack, you got it for 55 cents. And that's where I believe we're going. I still believe that we are going to get replicators. I really believe that. They're made. Why wouldn't we get them? But we're going to a price, a time, where we're going to go back. So just imagine when we get our money, when we got our own quantum account all set up and there's millions of dollars in there. Let's just for good faith say that everyone here has a quantum account with $10 million in it. $10 million today. But we go back to that era, to the prices of that era. What is that going to be worth? 60, 70, 80 million? See, because guys, I've tried to tell you, and I really believe this. We're going to go, Papa G, 10 cents for a soda. We're going to go to an era of what we used to be. We're going to go and we're going to live where the world is beautiful again. We're not going to worry about wars because the people who want wars, who are the people who want wars? The people who want to become wealthy, the people who are running the wars, because whenever there's war, the businesses flow, the things that have to be made. I know I worked in a factory that we made the batteries for the United States Navy for their submarines. I seen a brother of mine go to Vietnam and another one go to Germany and France. I seen young 18-year-old boys, and something that breaks my heart is we just run something against a country the other day that had to be done, and we lost 3 soldiers. They didn't die in vain. They died for the children, the thousands, tens of thousands, and millions of children that now will be safe. Myself personally, if you remember listening to the Hat Talk when he was in term the first time, one of the things he said, or it might have been when he was running the second time or third time, but one of the things he said in his speeches was during his presidency, he never, ever lost a soldier. Never, ever lost a soldier. Now he lost 3 in one movement. I'm hoping and praying it's going to be something that we lost, something like we lost Charlie Kirk, something like we lost Elvis, something like we lost Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and a Big Bopper, or Michael Jackson, something that we lost President Kennedy or his son. I'm hoping that that's how we lost them. And you know something I heard the other day? If you guys are into sports at all, football, back when football was really good, there was a gentleman, a football player that went to, I believe he went to Vietnam, and we lost him. I think his name was Pat Hughes. It might have been someplace else he went, but I think his name was Pat Hughes. I'm not sure. If you guys know, please let me know. and we lost him, but I've heard we didn't. And I'm looking, so as much as I'm looking forward to the freedom, to the health being where we are healthy. Can you imagine Myrna and Papa G and John Chisholm or whatever, and Janet, Tony? Can you imagine how it's going to feel to get up in the morning and just say, oh, I'm so glad to be awake. I'm so glad to be living in the greatest time where Jesus Christ and God has come back and they're taking care of us. To me, them are the glory days. And them are days that we was all told were going to happen. So for the people, as I'm getting ready to get off of this subject, for the people who is out there, what's that? Oh, who don't want to believe in, and guys, I'm still holding hope for the money for tomorrow. Will it happen? It hasn't yet. Whenever they've told us it hasn't. But how long, Kevin and John, how long can they keep doing this? Now, I listened to the State of the Union address the other night, and boy, I heard a man standing up there, and as much as I love him, as much as I care for him, as much as I support him, he was stepping up there and he was saying, the price of gas is averaging under $2 a gallon across the whole United States of America. Hogwash. Hogwash. I went to town today to pay mine and Ron's phone bill. I went through and buy at least 10 different gas stations. The cheapest I saw gas at any one of them was $3.39. But if you signed your phone number and up and got their card, you could get it for $3.29. $3.29, less than a week after the President of the United States of America stood up and swore that the average price of gas was $1.89. It's been so long in Illinois since we've seen gas under $2. And I can remember I was so mad. Show you how far I go back, Sandra and Lynn Date. So far I go back, I got mad when they raised the gas to 50 cents a gallon. Back then, they raised the gas to 50 cents a gallon, even though I didn't smoke. At our factory, I was in charge of the activity association, and we had a cigarette machine in there. We was making good money. And the guys who smoked, they forgot to bring their cigarettes from home where they could buy a case back then for $10, $15. And they had to pay $2 a pack. And the women literally come in and they jumped all over me and they said, you can't do this. My husband is spending $2 a day up there, $10 a week, $10 a week. He's hurting our bank account because he smokes. So when it did hit the $2, we took the machine out. Now, when it was at 75 cents, when it was at $1, we were getting 10 cents on every package of cigarettes that was bought. And that may not seem like much, but when you got 300 people working and at least 2/3 of them smoke, and they wouldn't remember to bring their cigarettes in that they bought by the case, they'd buy them in the thing. And when you're selling 100 packs a day, that's $10 a day. For an activity association that would always take people to ball games, I was in charge of it, so it was White Sox games. I was in charge of it because it was football games. I was in charge of it. We went to comedy clubs. We had dinner dances. We had a great time. The company would pick up 50% and the activity association would pay. But that was great times. And that's the times we're going to go back to. When you go to work, Papa G and Bill Woods, when you go to work, it's not going to be like work. Well, I can remember walking in. I wasn't even at work for 2 minutes. And the foreman said, if you're not back in an apartment in 2 minutes, I'm going to give you a white slip. Okay. Here, I remember once, one of the foremans looked at me and I was late getting to work. Had a flat tire on the way to work, got out, changed the flat tire, got in there, and I got to work 2 minutes before, and I clocked in, and I'm running to the locker room to change and put my coveralls and my uniform on, and foreman come out of the office, and my lockers was right by the office. And the foreman comes in and he says, "You got 2 minutes to be back in the department to work, or I'm going to give you a white slip." I didn't blink an eye. I looked at him, I said, "You might as well turn around, go back there in the office, get your white slip pass, and give me the white slip because I ain't going to make it." And I said it so the plant manager could hear it. Plant manager just happened to be a guy I went to school with. He come and he said, "Ralph, what's the problem?" And I said, "I had a flat tire coming to work today, Kevin, but if I ain't back in the department in 2 minutes, he's going to white slip me." He said, "You're going to make your rate today?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Take 10 or 15 minutes. Stop and get yourself a bottle of water or something to drink so you can just relax. I know you'll give the rate, and I know you'll give 110 or 120%. But there's just foremans. Would you not agree, David Duffy and Janet? There's just people that you work for that they think because they become foremans, they're the baddest buttholes in the world." We had one foreman. He hurt his back. He wasn't a foreman. He hurt his back. And every day he just laid in on the bench. He'd get up and go to the cafeteria at lunch, at break and lunchtime. And all of a sudden he said one day, "Hey, we're going to make you a foreman. We're going to get something out of you." And they made him a foreman. He was the biggest, the letter that starts with a P and sounds like Rick. What?
Back didn't hurt after that.
All right. All of a sudden this man never hurt. He wanted a management position. Terrible foreman. Nice guy outside the plant, terrible foreman. So let's see what we got. I've told enough stories. Bear with me. The storm has arrived. The last step of the reset is now in motion. The cyber attack will cause the whole system to fall. The markets crash. The banking system fell apart. The lights go out. No web access. No sales. Things go crazy. EBS will end the quiet. The truth will come out when the emergency alert goes off. The old way of doing things with money is over. Corrupt organizations fall one after the other. The phoenix rises from the ashes. The gold and the silverback economy brings things back into balance. XRP, the new king, quantum financial system turns on making transactions instant, safe, and impossible to stop. The new world has begun. This is your last chance to get ready. Survival depends on liquidity. Those who hold the key own the future. And when he said in this thing, survival depends on liquidity, those who hold the key. Liquidity, meaning money. Everybody's going to get money. Now, I talked the other day about everyone getting $5,000. And I'll say it again and again and again. I don't believe 18-year-olds deserve $5,000. What have they done? They went to school. Their parents has paid their way. When they turned 16 and they was in sports, mom and dad had to buy them a car. And now they're going to turn 18. And I know for a fact there's a school that I'm associated with. They graduate on the 27th or 28th of May, which means on the first part of June, they're 18 years old and they get $5,000. What is going to be their incentive? Now, I have no trouble them getting something. But I think everybody, to make this fair, Larry and Papa G and Ian, Nito W, to make this fair, why don't everybody just get $100 for the years of their age? Why?
Oh, I would like that.
Why would someone like Ron, who is 80 years old, why should someone who's 18 get the same as him? Why me at 72 or other people here who is senior citizen? John, you just turned 72 or you're whatever. Why should they get as much as we do? What have they done for our world? What taxes have they paid? What have they been screwed out of? But I'm also with my eyes open enough that I understand if that's how they want to do it, I'm okay with it. Talking to my daughter about this the other day, and I'm telling her, and she, for the first time, my daughter made me feel unaccepted. And my daughter has always backed me in everything I've done. But I was talking to her yesterday at the kids' games. And I'm telling her to watch your mail, that what's about to happen. And I'm telling her this, and she didn't pay attention to me. And I looked at her and I said, you're not going to get the 5. You and your husband together is going to get 10. And I said, think of it. 10 is 120 a year in less than 2 years. If you just use that and live on what you got. My daughter has an outrageous house payment. Her house payment is more than my house payment and all of my bills together. But I said to her, you can get that paid off. And she said, I still have to work on getting my student loan. I said, if you ever listened to me and believed in me and supported me the way I've supported you your whole life, you would understand that that's all going to be paid. Talking to Papa G today, the knowledge that this man has. And I know I told you that he was one of the smartest men I know. And he told me no. So I'm going to retract that and I'm going to say he's just a very intelligent man, because he doesn't like to be one of the smartest men I know. Now, that could go 2 ways. Maybe it just comes to the fact that I don't know a lot of smart people. So smoke that one, Papa G. Who's this? We got Nita. Okay. So let's see what Judy Bidington has to say. Judy Bidington's latest report sheds light on the progress towards the Global Currency Reset, GCR, and the implementation of the quantum financial system. As of Monday, March 2nd, 2026, several key milestones have been achieved, signaling a major shift in global financial landscape. According to Judy Bidington, the Chinese elders have released funds for the GCR, and the new QFS is online with synchronization completed. This move is sees as crucial steps towards more equitable, and transparent financial system. Moreover, Intel providers have been instructed not to disclose sensitive information, indicating that the transition is carefully managed. The report confirms that the hat has given the green light for the GCR, the launch of Big N, Big G funds, and the activation of the Emergency Broadcast System, EBS. The development is expected to have far-reaching consequences, including the abolishment of the IRS and the implementation of the special beds for veterans and C blank, blank, blank victims. Okay, we know what that is. And the redistribution of wealth. The White Hats have confirmed that phase 1 of the global transition began on Sunday, March 1st, 2026, with a 48-hour blackout for the GCR Big G wealth redistribution. The broadcast via the EBS will provide detailed explanations of the Big N/Big G implementation debt jubilee and the significant changes to the transition progress. Stay-at-home orders will be issued globally, and the banking reset protocol will be launched, freezing the fiat transactions worldwide. The Central Bank of Iraq has officially announced the introduction of the new sovereign coin as part of the revaluation process, making a significant step towards the GCR. According to the RUBEMBAZ, several details have been confirmed under strict confidentiality protocols, including the successful entry of operational codes and passwords and the distribution of the updated QFS data to the global interbank system. As the GCR gains momentum, it is advised to exchange, redeem foreign currencies at official redemption centers rather than banks to avoid lower exchange rates. With the new gold asset-backed global financial system, online banks not compliant with the Basel III regulations are expected to face significant challenges. In conclusion, Judy Bidington reports paints a picture of the world on the cusp of significant transformation as the GCR and QFS implementation progress. It is essential to stay informed and be prepared for the changes that lie ahead. With the new era of prosperity and the transparency on the horizon, it is crucial to understand the development and the timelines outlined in the report and navigate the shifting landscape. Judy, note the Chinese elders have released monies for the global currencies. I've already read that. Intel providers will be leaned on not to disclose information. The HAT has given the green light, and pretty much everything else I've already read. I want to turn back the clock. Today is the 2nd. Thursday will be the 5th. Wednesday night show will be the last show before I celebrate doing this show for 5 years. 5 years ago when I started this show, I sent out to 12 people. There's not many here watching this show tonight that was one of the 12. People have come and joined this show because they was just looking for something, special beds information. And I said to God when I started this show, and it wasn't even a show, I just recorded videos and sent them out. I was barbaric. I had no clue of what to do. And after year and a half, some people said, why don't you go live? And how do I do that? And some important people helped me, showed me how to go live. Talk about being a green under the collar. I was. But the first thing I said when I sent out to them 12 people, if I touch one person, it's going to make my day. And I've touched many people. And one of the people I've touched told me in a recent conversation, they said they was just looking for information on beds. And all of a sudden they came on and they seen this guy telling stupid stories, laughing and joking. And I caught his interest. And he hasn't missed a show. And I think he said 3 years. I think I touched him. I don't have a rat's behind clue, truthfully, of what I'm doing. All I know that at one time I was a young man, too embarrassed to stand up in front of my senior class and give a book report on a book that I had read 50 times, because whenever I needed an out, I would give a book report on this Shortstop on Wheels. It was a sports book that I loved. Shortstop on Wheels. And I would get it. And I was too shy to get up there. But you put me at shortstop. You put me in the outfield. You put me in any position on a baseball field. And I never shut up. Coming here and going from 12 people to at one point over 36,000. Going through what we went through with people trying to take our show away. Our family is stuck together, and we may be low in numbers, but there's no family. There's no show that has so much family love as we do. And I want to take the moment to thank everyone. keep our vibrations up. From what I'm hearing, we will be going. From what I'm hearing, we will be going starting April 1st. It won't be April Fool's Day. It will be more or less like a holiday. And then after that, we will go to 13 28-day months, totaling 365 days. From what I'm understanding, Christmas will stay the same. I don't know about New Year's because that was on the 31st. Maybe they'll make it December 28th, and then January 1 will be the same way. I don't know. This is all things we have to straighten out. But I'll promise you this. Whether we get that money by tomorrow, whether we don't, we're going to get it. Whether we believe or we don't, and you must believe because you come here every night that I'm here, 3 nights a week. I believe in what I'm doing, or I wouldn't be doing it. I would not sit up here just to talk. That's not me. In closing, I said I was going to add something back into the show tonight that was brought to my attention that I let go. And I give my explanation why, and it was wrong. And this person showed me I was wrong. So we're going to close tonight's call with a prayer. And when I finish the prayer, I'm just going to say good night. God bless, and I love yous all. Me and Ron love yous all. Dear Lord, as we come to the end of tonight's show, forgive us for straying away from saying the prayer at the end of the show every night. But I want you, Lord, to look after everyone, because we're coming to a time in your world that you have so anticipated for us to come, to be here. You have put us in a position, the baby boomers and other people who love you as much as we do. You put us in a position, Lord, to be here, to take care of everything you need done. You have brought leadership in the hat. You have brought leadership in Junior and his dad. You have brought leadership in so many people. So many people, Lord, we're going to see coming back. And that's going to be a glorious day. And I want to thank you for taking care of all these people instead of letting the bad people get them. And I want to thank you, Lord, for helping us clean up the mess with all the children. And as you know, Lord, one of my main things that I want to do is work with the children. And I want you to stand by me, Lord, and I want you to help me get every child in this world a parent, whether it's a dad, a mom, or whatever. I don't care. I just want these children to be loved the way that we all love you as I come to you and talk to you and pray to you through my Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Good night, everyone. Me and Ron will see you Wednesday night. We love yous, and we'll talk to you soon.